Vasudevaya. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, text 19. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Hantate Kathayishyami Divya Hyatma Vibhutayah Pradhanyatah Kurusreshta Nasti Anto Vistarasya Me. Now, having petitioned by Arjuna, as Arjuna asked Krishna, O Krishna, if you think I deserve to be told about your glories, Vaktum arhasi aseshena divyahi vibhutayaha, these glories of yours, please explain it to me. So that the idea was even the common men will understand from it. And now Krishna is responding, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Te kathayishyami hanta, hanta te kathayishyami, ha. Hanta means yes, ha. Yes, te kathayishyami, I will reveal it to you, I will explain it to you. What? Divyahi atma vibhutayaha. My atma vibhutayaha, my opulences, which are definitely, certainly divya, divine. Divyahi atma vibhutayaha te kathayishyami. But mind you, O Kurusreshta, O Arjuna, pradhanyataha, I will mention my vibhutayaha only pradhanyataha, only some principal opulences. Because na asti antaha vistarasya me, because those have no end. Antaha na asti. These atma vibhutayaha antaha na asti. Therefore, only pradhanyataha kathayishyami vistarasya, because my opulence is very expansive, limitless. So Prabhupada says, it is not possible to comprehend the greatness of Krishna and his opulences. The senses of the individual soul are imperfect and do not permit him to understand the totality of Krishna's affairs. Still, the devotees try to understand Krishna, but not on the principle that they will be able to understand Krishna fully at any specific time or in any state of life. So, the senses that we have are imperfect. Sometimes we think, oh, I'm the perfect man, I can figure out everything, I'm able to understand everything. We have figured out this universe. And suddenly some theory will come which will defeat us. Like Newton was proposing in the beginning. He found how the planets are orbiting around the sun. He was explaining with the laws of physics. And then he found one anomaly in one of the planets, and it was as it was revolving, it was exhibiting a little off the path, it was going. And then he was wondering why. Why is it I'm not able to? I thought I figured out everything. But this one is left unfigured. And then he went and researched, and then he found out something. He there was some another planet that was gravitational attraction between these two planets, and a little bit that was deviating from the path. And then he proposed another theory to adjust. So the scientists also, they actually implicitly believe everything is working in order. There are some laws of this universe. That itself is a proof that somebody is in control, isn't it? Let's say you go to some city and everything is working in clockwork precision, but no police officer is there, That means they have set it up so nicely that it's so working automatically. Do we conclude, oh, it's just come into existence just like that out of nowhere and it is working? No. If there is a law, there has to be a lawmaker. If there is a system, there has to be people behind running that system. So even implicitly, the scientists, they agree, they accept that there is law and order and laws of physics that work, that govern this universe. But every time we try to think we have made it, we are perfect, God will pose another challenge. The nature will pose another challenge, like the quantum physics. It's a subject that the scientists have researched for more than a century, but still they have not come to the grips with it. Every time they discover something, some new element, 10 other new elements will come into the fore and whose behavior is unexplained. The macro laws of physics don't conform to the micro laws of physics in the quantum world. So, like that, every time we try to think we are perfect, nature will reveal our imperfectionism. Like the yesterday, I was hearing a lecture. This was a lecture given by Srila Prabhupada in, I believe, Mexico. And there was a disciple translating what Prabhupada was speaking in Spanish. So Prabhupada was saying that people are saying, yes, we have built these huge machines, like telescope, for example. But the simple principle is because you made it with your imperfect senses, the instrument you build also will be imperfect. It's not perfect. There is a lot of maintenance needed. Even when maintenance is needed, there is a lot of errors, they say. Okay, that is why they say 99.9% reliable. You get a speeding ticket from the police, you can go to the court and argue against it, and they have to prove that the radar they used is properly calibrated. Otherwise it can go out of order. Every now and then it needs to be checked, tested. If it is not tested within a particular duration, then your case will be dismissed. So the point is that our senses are imperfect. We have to understand to err is human. And what to speak of understanding the Supreme Lord who is above and beyond everything that we have in experience. So the senses do not permit him to permit the soul to understand the totality of Krishna's affairs. But the point is, Prabhupada is saying here, still the devotees try to understand Krishna, not on the principle that they'll be able to understand Krishna fully at any specific time or in any state of life. Rather, the idea is that the very topics of Krishna are so relishable that they appear to them as nectar. Thus, they enjoy them. So, this is Bhagavad Gita life. Matchittaha madgataha prana bodhayantaha parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. In the last few verses, the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, one of the verse we discussed. Matchitta madgata prana bodhayantaha parasparam. The devotees, they spend time discussing Krishna's pastimes. Krishna's pastime does not just refer to his pastimes as an incidents, those kind of things, but his leela of how this material world is working. That is also his pastime. How the universe came into existence. That is also his pastime. How he is expanding as different Purusha avatars, and is sustaining and maintaining this world. These are all pastimes. These are all invaluable information Bhagavatam has. If we study Bhagavatam properly, it has knowledge about physics, chemistry, geography, economy, governance, relationships, happiness, how to be balanced, purpose of life. Everything is there in Bhagavatam. That is why it is said Vidya Bhagavata Avadhi. Bhagavatam is the Avadhi, the highest limit of knowledge. So once we get, all it takes is hearing in the association of devotees. Then these topics become very relishable. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana katha tajjoshanaadasu apavargavatmani shraddharatir bhaktir anukramishyati. Very potent in the association of devotees. Like I used to remember in my childhood, in my house, there was the television. It was one of the houses which has television in my childhood days. And all these college students, they used to live near my house. I was a small boy at the time, 5 years, 6 years. And all these college students, teenagers, and all of that, they used to come. And my father used to switch on the television, and then they used to watch these cricket games. And so I used to wonder, and they used to see for the whole day. And I would be so bored. What are they watching? The same thing, the guy is running and throwing some ball, and batsman is hitting. In those days, they used to play very slowly, isn't it? And, I would get bored. What are these people watching day in and day out? And then they would come every day or whenever the match happened. And then I would sit along, see their reactions, see them talk, discuss the scores. And then they would also play. And then slowly, by that association, I also got into that. And before I knew it, I started to follow it. I became interested. I became one of them. This is called association. Somebody becomes the best cricketer by association, best drunkard by association, best gambler by association. Similarly, best devotee by association. You can choose what field you want to excel. And basically, you associate with that kind of people. You want to become politician, you associate with politicians. Businessman, you associate with businessmen. Go to all these meetings. However, you want to progress in life, you associate. That's the secret. Of course, we don't say don't go to any of these meetings, executive meetings. That is your material side. For your sustenance, whatever is your inclination, if you are a technical person, you need to associate with programmers or online to learn how to do programming. You need to sharpen your skill to have a livelihood. We don't say, Bhagavatam doesn't say don't do that. But importantly, don't neglect association of devotees. That should be the central thing that we do, around which everything else should go along with it. Everything else we do should aid, should cooperate, should aid that central thing, which is association of devotees and discussion and hearing of Krishna's pastimes. Because that's what is helping us making progress in this human life. Everything else is just, you know, actually Krishna provided everything. The moment you get this body, your sukha and dukkha are destined. Whether you do that or this, it'll all come in some form or the other. But the things we do is just for our engagement. Because as a rasa seeking entity, as as entities who want to have some fulfillment, we need some engagement. So all these things are just meant for that. If one is advanced, they don't seek engagement in any other things in Varnashram Dharma. They'll seek engagement completely in Krishna consciousness. So that's what here Prabhupada is saying, that Krishna's glories are so unlimited. That's why Krishna is also saying, Pradhanyataha, only I'll reveal important ones. And the idea is we cannot ever able to understand Krishna's complete glories. We'll understand a little bit, but the idea is not that we'll figure out and we become so knowledgeable, I'll be hailed as the greatest person. The idea is that the topics themselves are so relishable, thus they enjoy them. They take transcendental pleasure. So, Krishna knows that the living entities do not understand the full extent of his opulences. So, therefore, he is agreeing to state only the principal manifestations. So, you should note carefully that if somebody says, hey, you don't know how great I am, just imagine if somebody is saying, hey, you don't know how great I am, I'll tell you a little bit for your understanding. But you will not be able to understand who I am. And then you will think, oh, how egoistic this person is. See how he is boasting of himself, how puffed up he is. Like that we think, isn't it? And God must be the most pure of all persons, exhibiting the highest purity, highest character, exemplary behavior. And why Krishna is doing it like this? Pradhanyataha kurusreshta nastyanto vistarasya me, my opulences are unlimited. Why does he say that? See, what we need to understand is Krishna clearly warns in Bhagavad Gita in several places that this Bhagavad Gita is meant to be heard in a devotional mindset, not in an envious or challenging mentality. Idam te na tapaskaya na abhaktaya kadachana na cha susrushave vachyam na cha mam yobhya suyati. Krishna says this Bhagavad Gita should never be told to those who are atheistic, those who are envious, those who are not austere, those who don't want to serve me. Why? Because when they see these kind of statements, they commit more offenses to Krishna. See this person, how he is boastful, how he is thinking. So Krishna does not want that. But for devotees, he reveals, not with an intent of showing his greatness, but with an intent of purifying us, delivering us, so that we surrender to him. We understand who he really is. So in America, they say God is great. At least that's one good thing here. There is belief in God, religion. It's started, the founding fathers were forming the country based on religion, belief in God. God is great is a statement that is stated and believed by many. But we should not be satisfied simply understanding God is great. We should further understand how great God is, who God is, where does He live, what does He like, what does He want me to do, where does He want me to go, how I can be guided by Him. All these things, it is by very, very great fortune one gets the knowledge of all these things by a bona fide spiritual master, coming in disciplic succession all the way from Krishna. ब्रह्मांड भ्रमिते कोन भाग्यवान जीव गुरु कृष्ण प्रसादे पाए bhakti lata beej. When a living entity is going in this Brahmanda means universe. Brahmite, Brahman karna. Just like a person traveling around. I met one person in one of the satsangs, youngster. So, what are you doing? I asked. He said, no, I'm not doing anything. I am planning to go on a world tour to explore. Oh, what a luxury you have. You don't have obligations to work and all that. And then after a few months, I went again to that satsang and I saw him. And then I asked him, what happened? No, I gave up. It was too hectic and I didn't have enough money. So people are trying to wander everywhere, but nowhere they find satisfaction. They want satisfaction, happiness. Therefore, they take different forms. Like on Earth, they are not satisfied. Now they want to go to Mars. In this way, Brahmanda Brahmite, in this material world, nowhere they are finding happiness, ultimate happiness. But Kona Bhagyavan Jeev, if one is really, really fortunate, then he gets the mercy of Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beej. The real mercy, the real fortune, like that person who prayed to Lord Shiva, give me the biggest wealth. And Shiva appeared to him. Yes, go to this person, Sanatan Goswami, he'll give you the biggest wealth. He has this stone, Chintamani stone. Whatever you touch with it, it will become gold. And so he went to Sanatan Goswami. Babaji, I heard you have this stone, valuable stone that anything you touch will become gold. And Lord Shiva told me to take it from you. And Sanatan Goswami was thinking, oh, where did I keep that? Oh, that one. Oh, it must be in that, trash can. Can you go check? And then he went running. And then he found it in the trash bin. He came and said, oh, is this the one? Sanatan Goswami said, yes, that's the one. You take it. And then the man became so happy, started to go and run and celebrate. And then suddenly he felt, wait a minute, if this is really the most valuable thing, then why it is put in a trash can? It's treated as if it's nothing. It's the most insignificant thing. And then he went back to Sanatan Goswami and said, actually, I have a question. What is that? You must be having even more bigger wealth. And because of that, this most significant thing, which I think as significant, you've thrown it in garbage. So you give me that. I don't want this. There must be something bigger with you. Smart person. And then Sanatan Goswami said, you really want that? Yes. And you throw this away and come back to me. And then he threw it and came back. And then Sanatan Goswami revealed the information, the knowledge, transcendental knowledge about Krishna consciousness and initiated him. And he became equipped with the greatest wealth and became fully satisfied. So the real fortune is to be blessed and come in touch with a bona fide spiritual master, which we did, Srila Prabhupada, whom we are following, who is in line with disciplic succession, who is giving Krishna consciousness, that wealth of knowledge, that wealth of Krishna, that holy name, which even the greatest of personalities is hankering to get. The greatest of demigods, they are hankering. The Vedas are proclaiming, the Upanishads are proclaiming the glories. And that holy name we got, and we are able to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is not easily understood, who is not easy to give darshan to, whose form the yogis spend years and years of tapasya and meditation. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutas Stunvanti Divyaistavayir, whom Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, Maruta, all these devatas, Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi, they praise with transcendental hymns. Vedai Sangha Kramapadopanishadair Gayanti Yam Samagaha, whose glories are sung in all this Vedic literature. Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manaso Pasyanti Yam Yogino. And the yogis are trying to focus and meditate in their hearts. Yasyantam Navidur Sura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha. That Supreme Personality of Godhead, that knowledge, whose holy name, whose Bhagavad Gita is given as it is, coming in disciplic succession. We are very, very fortunate. So, the point here in this verse is we try to understand Krishna is not egoistical. He is revealing as his benediction, is making us fortunate to get his knowledge. And we should understand and we should discuss and we should relish Krishna's descriptions and opulences. And finally, Prabhupada concludes in the purport, the impersonalist or the pantheist cannot understand the exceptional opulences of the Supreme Lord, nor the manifestations of his divine energy. Both in the material world and the spiritual world, his energies are distributed in every variety of manifestation. Now, Krishna is describing what can be directly perceived by the common man. Thus, part of his variegated energy is described in this way. We'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada.